One of the survivors from the devastation in Japan is Josh Bellendir, a California native, no stranger to earthquakes. He's lived in Japan for 6 years now. He lives in Tokyo, in fact. Josh, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Josh, where were you when the earthquake broke out?
I was in Ginza shopping area on the 7th floor of a building.
The 7th floor, not exactly on the ground floor. What did you do when you heard the rumbling? You felt the rumbling?
Well, it started very soft and kind of a flowing sensation, and it started picking up quite quickly. And me and a couple of the people went and stood in a doorway for a while, and then the actual entire building started shaking so uncontrollably that we decided to actually go down the emergency stairwell and escape from the building, because the earthquake went for about 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah. You seem very calm right now. How would you describe your state of mind about 24 hours ago?
Not so calm, actually. We're quite used to earthquakes. We'd get them during the night all the time here. I'd wake up and just kind of go back to sleep without thinking about it. So I'm quite comfortable with them. But this one in particular, it was shaking so much that I've never been in a quake quite that, just that high magnitude.
Yeah. Once you got out of the building, were you able to reach your friends and your family right away?
No, actually, data networks seemed to be fine. We could send text messages sometimes. Email was working, but no voice calls at all. I was stuck for about 3 hours before I could actually reach some people. So we were kind of a little bit lost and kind of wondering what's going on and hoping everyone was okay.
I know one of the people you were trying to reach was your fiance, who also lives in Tokyo. Is that correct?
Correct. She was a little bit outside of Tokyo proper, in a suburb of Tokyo, and I was trying to call her. We had heard back from a lot of people via email, so I knew email was working. I had sent several email messages, text messages, called her, and couldn't get through. And actually I was calling people in the States, and I was able to get through to them, and I was having them try to call her to see if they were having any luck on their end. But a good three and a half hours went by before I could actually hear word from her to find out she was safe, which was quite stressful.
I can imagine. I know the trains were out, the roads were a mess. How long did it take you to get home?
It took me about a total of, I would say, 6 to 7 hours. A lot of that was waiting around for things. We stood in a taxi line for about 40 minutes, which was about 50 people long. And during that 40 minutes, not one taxi came, so decided that the only thing to do was pretty much walk home.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty big walk. I live in Shinjuku, so where I'm at right now, and from Ginza to Shinjuku, it's quite a distance. And we walked for about an hour and a half to my friend's house, and then when we got there, his apartment building, we had to walk up 28 flights of stairs to his room. Yeah. To kind of take a break and rest, and then we walked the rest of the way home. It was about 2 hours, 2.5 hours on foot from there.
Josh, let me ask you this. How were the folks in the streets reacting once you got out in the streets and were on your way home?
You know, that was probably the most interesting thing. The Japanese are very calm in these kind of situations. They're used to earthquakes. They're used to things like this, even though this was, something new for them to have an earthquake this big. But you wouldn't know it if you were walking on the streets and weren't clued into the news, because you look at people and they're just walking around. Some people are going into bars, sitting down, having a drink, or going shopping because they were stuck wherever they were and had nothing else to do. So it was kind of a weird feeling. You didn't know if it was happening unless you were actually clued into the news and other things.
I understand. Josh Bellendir, an American in Tokyo. We're glad you're safe. We're glad your fiance is safe. You take care, sir. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, Josh, thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys.